Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Happy New Year's Day. Welcome back to another messy Facebook Live. We are going through over the next 30 days or so the core values that have helped our company and our practice scale from just one person to 200 plus folks. I really do believe sincerely that our practice isn't that different from everybody else when it comes to the services we provide, what we pay our clinicians. We try and pay best in market, things like that, but everybody competes on that. What I think makes us really different is these values, and they're not just values that go up on the wall in the break room, but they're things that when we get stuck, when we get frustrated, when we need to have accountability discussions with ourselves as a leadership team, or we hold people accountable within our organization. These are the values that we use as our touch point. This is what we fall back to when we're disoriented. People are introduced to these when they join our team, and people are eventually, some of them, invited to look elsewhere for employment because they can't lean into these values. We're not perfect at them. We didn't necessarily create them. We just found our wording, but they have served us really, really well. So sharing them with you. I know there's a lot of practice owners and even just businesses out there in other industries where the leadership role is tough and it's a bit of a hot mess and you're trying to keep it all together. And I hope these help you in that role. And I know there's companies searching to find their footing. You may have a great product or service, but you're trying to figure out what your culture is. So we're going to go with one of my favorites, and it's one of my favorites because the title is so rich. I think it really embodies who we've tried to be and how painful it can be. So I'm going to read it to you a couple times like usual, and then I'll unpack it and we'll get you on your way. So this one falls under our openness category. We have 6 categories that we've got 5 or 6 of these under, right? Integrity, openness, connection, kindness, sustainability, and choice. So this is the number one value under openness. Here it is. Impale yourself on openness. Paradigm shifts and legacies are the reward for those who are willing to lay themselves bare. Go first. Ask the hard questions about you. Listen to the answers. Don't explain away people's experiences and be grateful for their bravery. One more time. Impale yourself on openness. Paradigm shifts and legacies are the reward for those willing to lay themselves bare. Go first. Ask the hard questions about you. Listen to the answers. Don't explain away people's experiences, but be grateful for their bravery. So I love this one, right? It's the opening line is meant to be as kind of gut-wrenching as it sounds, right? Impale yourself on openness. This idea that I am willing to experience an immense amount of pain, to dive head first, to fall on the sword, I think is where we probably originated this one. But I will go first. When it comes to looking in the mirror, I will go first when it comes to hearing what I need to hear about me, about our company, about the way we deliver service or the way we operate. That openness for me has become the cursed superpower, right? I've come to believe over the years, just watching people both firsthand and reading about business leaders and leaders in other sectors, that the folks that are willing to really look, to not hide from the things that are painful to hear, to not hide from the things that tell you your efforts have been in vain and that you've actually made things worse, like to really lean in and embrace those, to be open to them, is the key ingredient to success, probably above all else, right? When we know all we need to know about ourselves or about a situation, we are involved in willful ignorance. We are choosing to know no more than what we already know, which means solutions are off our radar. Possibilities are off our radar. Things that we're doing to shoot ourselves in the foot, make things worse, become a self-fulfilling prophecy are off our radar. I thought years ago when I was first a couples therapist, you know, and I was coaching people through rough spots in their relationships. I thought a lot about, you know, what do I want for my own kids when it's their turn to be a partner with somebody. And I thought about all the things. I thought about values, my spiritual values, integrity, all these things. And the thing I kept coming back to, above all else, was openness. Right? Why openness? Because if you're open, right? If you really will hear what my kids' experience is like being your partner in life, if you're really open to how experimental behaviors might change outcomes for somebody else, then I have a really high confidence level that you will take care of this person that I love with all my heart to the best of your ability. Right? Somebody who holds all these other values but is not open becomes dangerous. Your integrity, your spirituality, all those things become a stumbling block if you are so sure, if you're so adamant about things that you can't see other possibilities. Fear adamance, right? Adamance is brings down companies. Arrogance, hubris, right? CEO pet projects, passions. We've always done it this way. All that kind of stuff. Those are our recipes for disaster, right? Pride comes before the fall. Probably more than often than that, right? More often than just blazing arrogance. Just a deep sense of surety, of confidence in one's own evaluation of the situation comes before the fall. So what does this look like? It means talking to people. It means asking the hard questions. It means going first. You'll hear me say this over and over and over again. Leader means you're at the front of the line. It means it's your job to go first, to put on the clown suit, to make a fool of yourself. Because if you don't do it, how will you hear the hard things in your key position? And if you don't do it, how will anybody else ever be held accountable? How will anybody else ever feel that they can both be honest and be embraced if you don't do it first? You create safety by putting yourself at risk. So in your organizations and hopefully in your personal lives, impale yourself on openness. Run at that sword. Let it pierce you. Let it be the core behavior of your company. Play the blind spot game more than you do anything else. More than you dream, doubt and ask the questions, because I think that's where greatness and catastrophe avoidance and all that stuff comes from. And if you want it to really be worth the time, because it's painful to do, you need to reward people for meeting that openness with their own openness. Right? If your openness invites their response, but then you close down, then you react, and then you sull up. If you do anything besides celebrate and promote them for telling you the hard things, it'll be a short-lived process with a lot of scar tissue for you and no real progress for your organization. Impale yourself on openness. It is the thing that drives culture and relational health and profitability and marketing and anything that we've seen as an innovation, a paradigm shift, a legacy of a leader in any industry came out of them saying, yeah, but what else are we not seeing? What are we missing? What else could be done? What completely outside of the box way are we not considering? You'll hear this theme come up in a lot of the remaining values throughout this process of sharing these with you. It's there for us. Things like expect the death of your current model and become blind spot obsessed and things like that. So there's my admonition, and it's a January 1st one. Maybe one of your New Year's resolutions should be, above all else, to be open to the point that it sucks, to be open to the point where it is painful and it is a visceral wound and it terrifies you. And I promise you, at that moment, especially when executed consistently, you'll achieve far more in your life than you ever thought you would achieve when you had a higher level of surety or confidence. I'll end with this. One way I've always looked at it is my job as a CEO is to be the dumbest person in the room, not because of any other reason, but that I hire really smart people. I surround myself with really smart people who are also empowered to answer my questions about me and what we're missing and what our organization is doing wrong, what sacred cows need to go under the magnifying glass. So hope that's helpful. Thanks for sticking around for another messy Facebook Live. As always, if I stuck my foot in my mouth, if you have additional thoughts, that's what the comments are for. You can always reach out to me directly, ken@semiprivatepractice.com. If you like this stuff, please subscribe on YouTube. Click that subscribe button down there in the corner or wherever. This helps us to find the encouragement to do this, makes it worth our time. If you like this stuff, be sure to check out our POW conference, POW conference.com, Practice Operations and Workflow. This is our new annual conference that we're doing in the first part of the year to help practices streamline operations, run better workflows, create better billing systems. It's not a rah-rah conference. It's roll up your sleeves and figure out the nuts and bolts. So join us for that if you can. Check back in tomorrow for another one of these. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you.